Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. What's up? Okay, so this episode, what's up? You know, cause I don't usually say that, y'all. That was a little different. I don't know what that was. Anyway, all right. So we Too Close to Home, episode 6, Hard Feelings. That's what it was called. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good? All right, good. Let's get into it. Yeah. Let's get into it. Alright. So we open up with Dax. Okay, so remember last week, Dax and Victor were on the phone when Victor was getting beat up. Hello? Hello? He wasn't responding. Alright. So Valerie, we see Valerie coming in this week. I guess he called her, so he's getting dressed, you know, he's ready to go. So she comes in, she's like, well, is he picking up the phone? He's like, nah. He's like, but I know for a fact, like, you know, he was getting beat up. And she's like, how do you know? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I'm telling you what I know, like, that's what I heard. And she was like, why? Like, what are you talking about? He was like, I don't know, I just know he was getting beat down when I was on the phone with him, okay? So he's like, I got a plane ticket and I'm going. Because she's like, where you going? He's like, I'm going. Like, I already got my plane ticket. She's like, wait, when are you going? He's like, right now. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, wait a minute, calm down and all that. He's like, no, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. She's like, what are you talking about? What are you gonna do? He's like, I'm going to the airport. I'm gonna get a plane to Montgomery and then I'm gonna drive the rest of the way. I gotta go. She's like, whoa, like, you can't do this. He's like, don't tell me what I can't do. Like, I'm going and, you know, all this. And so he says, because you don't know what I'm going through, whatever. She's like, he's my friend too, and this, that. And then she goes, I'm going with you. Like, you're not going to go by yourself. He goes, what do you mean? Like, you have to work. And she's like, I told you I'm going with you, you know. He goes, we can't both miss it. And then she goes, look, I'm going. That's that. Okay. So they out the door on their way to the airport. They're going to get Victor or see what's going on with him. And we actually see them. I guess they're going to get there by next week. Okay. So, well, for us, next week. Then we switch back to the bar, okay? Well, I'm saying from last week, because remember, we've seen the bar. So we switch back to the bar, okay, where Victor's getting beat down now. Victor is now on the ground, pretty much lifeless. They've already beat the life out of him. Now it's just overkill. Like, they're just kicking him. He's already beaten senseless, but now they're just kicking him. Just to be, you know, even bigger dirtbags than you previously were when you came out into the freaking planet. You're just worse than that. Sorry, y'all, I had a flashback. No, they're dirtbags. But I had a flashback. Forget about it. I thought about Rusty, but Fluffy was wrong. Anyway. Oh my gosh. JB could be, that's Rusty's son. I've decided it. That's him. Tyler just decided, oh, we can't have them in the same city, remember? Because Maxine is a fictional city for Fluffy is wrong. So Tyler said, oh no. We gonna split them up and watch. That's gonna come up. Oh, wait a minute. JB is Rusty's son. And he was, yeah, because remember that Dr. Allen is not JB's father. Oh yeah. I'm proclaiming it. Anyway. Just wait. I'm tired. So then, yeah, we're back at the bar. Sheriff pulls up on scene cooler than he should have been, and I was over it, okay? So he rolls up on scene, and he's like, stop, like, what are you doing? Like, it was literally like that, like, stop, what are you doing? And then he just goes, get off him. Like, he sees what they're doing, like, they kick the life out of him. They're like, he goes, what are you trying to do, kill him? Like, it wasn't the normal reaction for me, like, okay, alright. So he's like, what are you trying to do, kill him? And he was like, yeah, like, that's that fruitcake from Washington. You know, he was looking at me. Oh, he grabbed my behind. Oh, he was staring at me. Nobody was looking at you. You're gay. Okay, you wanted Victor to be looking at you. You ain't no sight. When the one dude said it, I said, he's lying. That's a lie. I know it. Okay, I'm over it. Anyway, yeah, he goes, oh, he was looking at me. Nobody was looking at you. I'm telling you. Okay, anyway. So the sheriff is like, well, he goes, I should arrest all of you or whatever. So they're like, how you gonna arrest us over a queer? And he's like, well, you're not giving me much of a choice. Didn't really appreciate, like, that's your response when he says, really? And then he goes, well, this is a hate crime. You know, why would you guys be so idiotic? You know, I could arrest you all right now. And they go, wait a minute. We elected you sheriff. And blah, blah. He's like, yeah, you idiots. And this is a hate crime. That you want the FBI coming all up and through here. He was like, all this for a queer? And then he was just like, all y'all need to take your ancestors onto the station and wait for me to get there. For me, it was a slap on, like, obviously you have to deal with this. It just wasn't enough. He was like, I should slap the handcuffs. Okay, so slap the handcuffs on him. Well, he only got one pair, but somebody is getting in the back of that car. One of y'all, so make a decision. The rest of y'all better be at that station when I get there, or I will come looking for you after I get this man some help. The heck is wrong with y'all? Y'all ain't got no home training? Don't answer that, because I know you don't. You look like you don't. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think it would have made it worse if it was a black man. Child better be lucky. Child better be lucky. I already didn't appreciate it just in general that a person was just being beat senseless for no reason. I mean, he shouldn't have grabbed that dude behind, because that was kind of really, you know, just really. But them other dudes with the fake, you just did it to do it. Just admit that you did it to do it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he was looking. Nobody was looking at you. Like, I promise. Anyway, so Victor is on the ground. He's beaten senseless, alright? Can't even move. He's trying to call his name. He's not responding. Yeah. So then, sheriff calls it in. He's like, you know, I need somebody down here. And by the way, there's 3 guys. He said their names. They're on the way to the station to wait for me. Yeah. So then we switch to Bonnie. And, well, he tells the guy, lock him up till I get there. So then we switch to Bonnie, and this was just like literally a quick scene. We see her coming out of the diner. Sally Mae's, I believe it's called. No, May Sally's. May Sally's. Yeah, she's coming out of the diner, closing up. Okay, so then we switch back to Anna. Okay, so remember last week Anna came out the trailer, vomiting and stuff like that. Like, oh snap, like how did my mom get that big, I guess. So she's out there, she's sitting in the chair trying to clear her head, you know. A Rebel comes outside, which last we find out Rebel is her daughter. Okay? And by the way, I'm a little confused on that. I'm gonna get into it. But, okay, so yeah, Rebel comes out, and so she comes out with this pop, and then so Annie thinks she's being nice. She's like, oh, thanks, I'm not thirsty. She's like, oh, this isn't for you, this is for her. Here, take it to her. She goes, I can't. She's like, why not? She's disgusting, isn't she? Nasty, huh? And then she's like, stop, Rebel, stop. She's like, no, this is what you left us with. She's mean, she's wicked, and we have to deal with this 24/7, 365. And she's just begging her to stop. She goes, we have to wash her, clean with her, stay with her for hours when she can't breathe. This is what you left us with. And then so she's begging her to stop, and she's like, why did you leave? Rebel just kind of breaks down. And she's like, why did you leave me? And she's crying. And then Annie starts crying too, but she tells her, she goes, you just wouldn't understand. So she's like, well, make me understand. And she goes, nah, like, you just wouldn't understand. She's like, listen, you were 9 years old at the time. Like, I couldn't take you. And she's like, don't even try to pull that, you know, Annie, because she don't call her mom. I mean, I ain't mad at it, you know. She's just like, yeah, you were 9 years old. I couldn't take you with me. You know, I just couldn't do it. So she's like, all right, just stop. You know, take the pop to her. She's like, I can't. So then Bonnie rolls up on scene, rolls up and gives her the hug of hugs, the king of hugs. Runs up on her, you know, get her in that embrace. You know, they hugging it up. Rebel in the back, like, whatever. We're over her. And so she's like, oh my God, like, I didn't know you were coming and this, that. She's like, I didn't know I was coming. So then she sees Rebel standing behind her. So she goes, what are you doing here? Like, because Bonnie asked Annie, you know, what are you doing here? And Rebel's like running and hiding, you know, talking about, you know, because remember the kids saw the news too. So then Bonnie looks at her and she's like, is that for your grandmother? And she's like, oh yeah, Annie here was just going to take it to her. She goes, I can't. She goes, Rebel, just take it. She's like, why can't she do it? She's like, Rebel, please. Because I said so, just go take it, you know. So she goes, and they have a conversation, and so she's like, you know, what happened to Mom? And she's like, we can't stand here because, you know, Mom listens. So she just asked her, so she was like, did you hear, I know you heard about what happened, and this, that, and the third, and she's like, aren't you going to ask me about it? And Bonnie was like, nah, like, you know, I'm not going to ask you, but she's like, you're my sister, I love you, I don't care what you did, I don't care what happened, she's like, you mean the world to me, you're my sister, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I appreciate that, you know, they hugging, she's like, because I don't deserve it. So, and, you know, and so she goes, you know, I deserve all this. And then Bonnie's like, no, you don't. You're like, you're still a good person. And she's like, am I? She's like, yeah, you are. I know you. She's like, do you really know me, though? She's like, yeah, and I know you're a good person. She goes, I appreciate you saying that because I needed that. You know, you get to that point where some bad stuff has happened to you. You're like, you know what? I deserve it. And you need somebody else to tell you that you don't. Even though you did something effed up. You did do something. You still, because you're not going to tell yourself you don't deserve it. You about to be like, yeah, I deserve all this. Oh, I deserve all this. And sometimes you do. But most of the time, humans, we just overdo it with things. And we need somebody else to tell us, you don't deserve this. Yeah, you did something effed up. We need somebody to tell us that too. Yeah, you did something effed up. But you don't deserve this. You know. So, I'm borderline with her because you were with a married man, but we don't want to say nobody... We don't want to say nobody deserves to be hit with the murder of a president that didn't attempt to murder the president. She's about to be hit with attempted murder. That's what the wife is trying to do. So I ain't mad at the wife. You know, I can't. Anyway, we're gonna move on because I'm about to just. I can't even. They're telling me I can't even say it. Appreciate that. Appreciate that y'all were trying to get me to say it. Anyway. Everybody's great. Everybody's great. Okay. So then, yeah, so they go in the house, and she tells her, she's like, I'm sorry I never returned your phone calls. And she's like, nope, don't do that. She's like, you're here now, and that's what it is. And they go into the trailer. So then we switch to Brody's. The sheriff is showing up. He got Victor in the back. And so, of course, you know, the sheriff showed up at your house. Like, what's going on? So Brody's like, you know, what are you doing here? And he's like, you got to check this out. He opens up the back door. He's like, wow, like, he looks pretty bad. And he's like, yeah, can your father help him? He's like, my daddy? He's like, yeah, you know, he's a doctor, right? He's like, yeah, but he hasn't been in his right mind for, you know, however long. And he goes, yeah, but I thought you said he's in and out. He was like, yeah, but I don't know, like, if he gonna be able to save him. And he goes, but I learned, like, a couple of things when I used to go on calls with my daddy. He's like, can you help him? He goes, I mean, I can see, but do you have an ambulance? He's like, the ambulance, I don't even know if they coming, honestly. Because he don't got no insurance. I think that actually came later. He tells him, I called the ambulance, and he says, they're telling me that it's going to take 3 hours for them to get here. Yeah, he goes, it's going to be 3 hours. And then so he goes, Brody, can you help him? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. He's like, come on, Brody, can you help him? And he's like, all right, yeah, I'll try. You know, let's get him out of here. So they get him out of the car, and they're getting him in the house. So, then we switch back to Bonnie. And so now Anna and her, they're really getting into everything. And so Annie asks her, she goes, what happened to Mama? And she goes, what do you mean? She goes, she got so huge. And she's like, yeah, you know, I tried to stop feeding her, but you know how Mama is. She gets really mean and really evil. So, and she goes, yeah, you know, I believe you. And she goes, like, sometimes I think it's my fault. And she's like, nah. So Annie tells her, she's like, nah, girl, don't do that. We both know how our mama is. So we know she was a piece of work during their childhood. You know, we could tell. And so she goes, but I want to talk about that. She's like, I want to talk about you a little bit more. And she goes, oh, you know, that's a complicated story. She goes, aren't you going to ask me, you know, talking about what happened with the president? And she's going, no. Like, I'm not going to. She's like, I don't care. Like, you're my sister and I love you. She goes, you know, I wish you would, like, stop doing that because it was making her feel even worse, I guess she was saying. And she was like, stop doing what? She was like, stop being so nice to me. It makes you feel bad. She was like, I'm not going to be mean to you. Like, what are you saying? She was like, but you should be. She was like, I left you here to take care of my child. I didn't return your phone calls. I just left. And then she goes, Bonnie, she goes, I left you here to take care of my daughter. You know what I mean? And she goes, I mess around with the president. I mess around with a married man. You know? And she's just like, you're still a good person. She's telling her it's okay. It's okay. She's like, no, it's not okay. You know? And Bonnie's telling her, she's like, I'm not mad at you. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're trying to get out of me, it's not going to work. And so she goes, I know somebody who would be. She goes, who? She goes, JB. He came to see me when I was in D.C. He was livid that I was not giving y'all no kind of money. And she's like, yeah, well, me and him aren't together, so, girl, don't even worry about that. You know, he ain't gonna be popping in on you or nothing like that. And, I mean, I get why JB was mad, but you can't really side with JB because it's JB. And, like, getting up to this point with his character, we're over him. Like I said, it's still that I guess we need to psychoanalyze because they're kind of trying to low-key, he didn't get enough love as a child. So I'm still over it because you don't have to act like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm over it. I'm still over him. So then she asks her, she goes, well, how long are you going to be staying here? And Annie's like, she's like, I don't know, I just need some time. She's like, well, girl, you can stay here as long as you need, as long as you want. And so she's like, thanks, you know, I really appreciate that. And she's like, because I really need you. She's like, I don't know how the kids are going to feel, but, and then she asks her, she goes, why did I leave here in the first place? She goes, because you're the only one in this small town to get accepted to that school. And you had to go, you had to make something of yourself. I made you go, I told you to go. And then she goes, look where it got me. And they hug, and then, so Bonnie's hugging her, she's like, oh, babe, you ain't got no meat on your bones. She's like, you're so scary. Loved it. It was very Southern. It was very, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I appreciated that. And so she's like, you know, I haven't been eating much, you know, so everything that's going on. She's like, I'm going to make you something. And, you know, they just exchange, you know, love you, and yeah. All right. So then we switch back to Brody's now. We see they're laying Victor on the bed. So Brody says, this is pretty bad after he opens his shirt. And the sheriff was like, well, how do you know? He was like, these bruises are black and blue. Like, that means he took a pretty bad beating. He's like, yeah, I know, because he rolled up on scene, remember? So he goes, can you help? He goes, I'm not a doctor. He's like, yeah, but remember you used to go on calls with your dad? He's like, yeah, but I'm still not a doctor. He goes, I don't know. The stomach is swollen and he might have some internal bleeding. Like, we need an ambulance. And he's like, it's going to take a while for me to get there. And they probably will not come because he doesn't have insurance. And then he even asked at one point, can we have the helicopter come pick him up? He's like, he ain't got no insurance. The helicopter is definitely not going to come in for that. And he's like, it's a long shot whether or not the ambulance is coming. And he's like, what? The ambulance ain't coming? He's like, you need to call them back. He's like, what do you think I've been doing? He's like, if they don't want to come, like, they're not going to if you don't have insurance. He was like, do you want to murder here in Happy, Sheriff? He's like, all right, point taken. And he goes to call him. He's like, thank you. So then Dr. Allen sees him. So he comes in, he goes, he's going to need oxygen. And he goes, and give him 2 cc's of this. So Brody was standing there for a good 5 minutes, like, he goes, Dad, what is this? And so his dad doesn't answer, because he just keeps saying, he goes, well, okay, he's got a strong heartbeat, because, you know, he's checking and everything. And he goes, Daddy, what is this? And he goes, JB, just give it to him. He was like, I'm Brody, Dad, like, you know, and then so the sheriff is just he's going with his dad. He's like, all right, you know, he said give it to him, just give it to him. He's like, I don't know what this is. So then his dad is like, give it to him. So then he's like, come on. So then the sheriff is like, you know what, I'll do it. And he tries to take it, and Brody's like, all right. So he does it, and it worked. It was exactly, he needed 2 cc's or whatever was in that shot. So he gives it to him, and he goes, okay, turn him over. So then he, like, you know, releases, you know, some air. And he's like, all right, what else do we do, Dad? And his dad was out. Like, he didn't, you know, it's fading in and out. And he goes, the heck if I know. He goes, is your brother still out in the field? And then he walks up out of there, and the sheriff is like, wow, like, that's how it really happens. Like, he's literally in and out, and Brody's like, yeah. So, and then he keeps telling him, he goes, call the ambulance. Again. So then we switch to the bar. Shelby is laying in there on the pool table, drunk, passed out. Okay. So Lily, I guess, is the bartender, the female bartender. She comes up and is telling her, like, oh, you need to, like, get up out of here. So then Shelby wakes up. She's like, you know, where's Rick? And she goes, I don't know. And then she's like, well, where's that guy I was dancing with? And she goes, what guy? And then she goes, that guy I was talking to, he never came back. She was like, yup. Do you know where he is? And she's like, who? And she goes, that guy. Like, really? You just asked me about him. You remember? And she goes, he got beat up by like 10 guys. And she's like, oh. Well, can I have another drink? Really? Anyway, so she's like, nah, girl, like, you need to be up out of here. And she's like, what? Like, I put $1,000 in that jar. I want my cut like you give the other girls. And so she's like, you need to get up out of here, go lay down or something, put the drinks down. She goes, well, that guy's credit card is still open, isn't it? Like, you can get me a drink. She's like, nah, you need to get up out of here. She goes, I want my cut. And she goes, and Lily's like, nah, get up out of here. So then she's like, all right, don't worry about it, because I'm going to be up in New York making it big time, me and Rick. And she goes, honey, you've already said that years ago, and you're still here. She said, okay. She goes, oh, shut up, you old witch. She said something, the lady said something to her. Oh, yeah, she goes, the only place you're going is to H-E-double hockey sticks. And then she goes, shut up, you old witch. And then Tony, the guy, he comes out. And he's like, if you don't get up out of here, I'm going to call JB. And she's like, I don't care, call JB. You know, the crackheads, they get all just a sense of, not to be shady. I don't want to call it, some drug addicts, they get a boost of just, you know you scared, but you're not really in that mindset because you just so doped up. She's like, I ain't scared of him. Bring him, call him. When you was just running from him, you know. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go call him. So even though she left, he still called them. But so she got up out of there. She was like, I want my cut. And then she was just like, just get up out of here. So she ended up getting her out of there. And so Tony called JB and was like, yo, you know, she's here. And he's smoking a cigarette. Who? Shelby? He like, yeah, man, like, she just left up out of here. He's like, man, why didn't you call me when I was actually there looking for her? He's like, I don't know, man, I was busy. And he's like, well, which way did she go? He was like, I don't know, left? He said, she's on foot, like, just get down here. He's like, okay, great, I'm on my way. He's like, what's going on? And then he hung up the phone. And then I put, drives off in redneck truck, I can't. Was he driving that truck last week, y'all? And I didn't notice it? I'm done. Then we switch back to Bonnie. And Annie, oh yeah, the kids are coming out for school. And, you know, the Mac is asking her, like, are you going to be here when we get back? And the one little boy, he's like, who's this? And then Bonnie's like, nobody. Like, you just need to get to school. He goes, what's her name? She goes, get to school. And then so, you know, Mac is saying, Auntie Annie, like, are you going to be here when we get back? And then Rebel's like, who cares? And so she's telling Rebel to stop. Girl, get to school. And she goes, okay, well, she's dead to me. And then Mac goes, you know, I hope you're here when we get back, Auntie Annie. So the kids leave. And she's asking Bonnie, she goes, well, how is she in school? Because that's her daughter, so she's, of course. And that's what I'm confused about. Because the mama said, I cooked and cleaned for you. Matter of fact, should I wait? Because it's a later scene. She says, I cooked and cleaned for you all the way up until you went to school. When you were 17. Hold on, we're gonna hold that. Okay. So she's asking her, you know, how is Rebel doing in school? And she goes, you know, she does very well in school. She's very smart. She's going to college just like you. You know, she's got good grades. And she's like, good. She goes, should I try and talk to her? And then Bonnie's like, nah, like, you know, she's got that teenage angst going on right now. Just leave her alone. So she goes, all right, like, you're probably right. And anyway, so then she tells her, she's like, well, I gotta go over and feed Mama. I'll come back and make you some breakfast if you want. And so then she goes, actually, no, you know, I'm gonna go over there with you. She goes, I don't think that's a good idea. I gotta go feed her and bathe her. And she's like, no, I'll go. Like, come on, I need to be helpful around here. And she's like, no, like, I don't think, she's like, come on, please. I need to do something. So they end up going over there. Bonnie tried to tell her. And they actually get into Brody, and she tells her Brody's mom died, his father has dementia, and she's just like, wow, she had no idea about any of that. And so at one point, Bonnie asks, like, do you want to see him? And she's like, nah, like, I'm not ready. So we'll see about them, because I seen a preview for last week, didn't appreciate it on Bonnie's part, because I appreciate Bonnie, and you could tell she is one who will think about everybody else what she thinks about herself. But I don't know what you're doing, because, okay, you're still with Brody in some way, shape, or form, but you're rooting for him and your sister to get back together. Like, I don't understand. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Well, I was confused, because she's been fending him off, and then what they tease for next week, didn't appreciate it. And she even asked her next week, is he seeing anybody? And Bonnie says no. So then we switch to the sheriff. So he's coming back, and he's on the phone with the ambulance again. So they're telling him, like, you need to go ahead and call Montgomery. And he's like, if I call Montgomery, that's gonna take 5 hours. So he gets off. He's like, all right, don't lie. And he gets off the phone. And Brody is like, so are they coming? He's like, no, they ain't coming. They want me to drive him out. And so the doctor, Dr. Allen, he goes, you can't drive him. He's not stable. And then so he goes, how do you know that, Doc? No, how do you know that, Allen, or something? He called him something that he didn't know, like that was his name. He goes, because I'm a doctor. And then he goes, yes, you are. So he goes, so why is he unstable? What do we need to do to get him stable? And then so he's just walking away like he faded out. And then Brody's like, just forget it. It's not going to work, because he kept trying to shout his name, but it wasn't working. And then he goes, okay, well, I got to go to the police station and make some calls. And Brody's like, you just going to leave him here? He's like, son, I can't just stand here. That's not going to do anything. I got to go make some calls and see what's going on. He's like, all right, well, hurry back. He's like, I'm going to get here as fast as I can. So then we switch back to Bonnie. And so they're in there with the mama, and there was a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of dialogue, really. And so she's like, as soon as they get in there, she's like, what is it? She goes, I'm hungry. She goes, did you bring the syrup? She's like, yeah, tries to hand her the syrup. She's like, no, my head hurts. And she goes, did you take your blood pressure medicine? She's like, yeah. She goes, did you take this one too? She's like, yeah, I took them both. And she goes, and I'm almost out of oxygen. She goes, okay, mama, I'm going to go get a new can today, all right? So it's just really, we get to really see how verbally abusive the mother is in this scene to both children, and how the fear that specifically Anna has for her. Because with Bonnie, it's some fear there, but she's like, you know what, I have the upper hand now. You're bedridden, and I'm going to do what I want. Okay, respectfully, because you are my mother. But if you try and get slick, I could be too, because you can't get up off this bed. Alright. So there was a couple times when she tried to come for Annie, and she's like, you couldn't even send us a dime. Like, you couldn't send us nothing. Like, you make me sick. And she's taking her sugar. Bonnie's taking her sugar, so she pricks her. And, like, in the wrong spot or something. And she's like, ouch. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, mama. And then she goes, you couldn't even send us anything. She goes, you hear, Bonnie? She was up in there with that president. They say she was having an affair for years, but never came to see us at all. Guess she was too busy, on the floor or whatever. And so Bonnie pricks her again. She goes, sorry, mama. She goes, no, you did that on purpose. And she goes, well, then you stop being mean to Annie, or I'm going to take your food away. And she looks at Annie. She goes, you see how she treats me? She treats me like a dog. Like, this is what I get. And then that's what I'm confused, y'all, because she says to Annie, because she goes, why are you here? And Bonnie goes, mama, she's here to help you. And she goes, that's the least she could do after I cooked for her, cleaned for her, all the way till she was 17 years old and went off to school. Now, this is what I don't understand, because she was talking to Rebel. And she said, I couldn't take you with me. You were 9 years old. And we find out she left for school. So you left for school when you were 17. Rebel, you said she was 9 years old when you left. Now, how old is Annie? Is the question. Because if you were 17 when she was 9 years old, do the math, y'all. 16, 15, 14, 15, 20, 21. Was she 8 years old when she got pregnant? I know that couldn't have been what happened. Somebody better tell me what happened there. Or am I missing something? Okay, yeah, because she goes, you were 17 when you left. And I know Rebel and her has got more of an age difference. Like, she looks young, but maybe I would have thought she had the baby around 17. Not 8 years old. I don't know. I'm over that. I'm thinking maybe it was something, she was talking about a different school, maybe? High school? Because this, I can't. So, and then at one point, they're scrubbing her up because, she had to turn over, and Annie is about to vomit. Like, nah. So she sees her. Bonnie sees her. She's like, Annie, because the mom's turned over, so she can't see Annie's face. But Bonnie goes, oh, dang it, I forgot the baby powder. Could you go over to my trailer and get it? And if you don't see it in there, just grab my keys on the mantle and go out to the store and get it. And she's like, okay. So she runs out and takes off the gloves. She's about to vomit, and she's crying and stuff. Like, dang, like, this is a lot. So then Bonnie and the mom are having, like, a little thing, and she goes, why is she here? And she goes, Mama, she's here to help you. She's like, no, you know why she's here. She's just here to use us. And she goes, Mama, that's my sister. Like, what do you want me to do? She's like, why have you always idolized her? She goes, idolize her? I don't idolize her. That's my sister. I love her. Would you want me to hate her? She's like, no, I want you to understand that she does nothing but use you. All you do is let Shelby and her use you. Oh, yeah, I saw Shelby get in that truck with JB the other night, and I saw what they were doing, and so did you. And she goes, really, Mama? And how did you see? She was like, I got mirrors in here. And she goes, all right, Mama, I'll come back later. She goes, okay, no, I'm sorry. You haven't finished. You haven't even powdered me up or dressed my sores yet. She goes, come on, please. And she leaves. And she goes, witch. Like, calls her the B word. Not cool. I'm over it. So then she goes outside. And Annie and her just have a moment where they're just hugging. And it is what it is. Because she's really trying to get Bonnie to turn against Anna. And it almost looked like it was working. So I was like, at least be in your own mindset. Don't let your mother do it. Because she's telling her, she's like, you know how many times you called her and she never picked up the phone? Because she's embarrassed of you and this, that, never helped you, never sent you a dime, left and this, that, didn't call you, didn't. You know what I mean? And then she tells her again, she goes, I'll take your food. And, the mom was like, that's not fair. She goes, I'm sorry and all this. She's just sorry because she was taken away, So then we switch back to Brody. He's looking downstairs. I guess his father, that's where he usually is. And so he doesn't see him. So he's like kind of rushed through the house now. So he goes, opens the door. And he in there, he didn't cut like a freaking slice inside of Victor's stomach area and digging in there and talking about, yep, it's in here. It's in here. Like, he's literally sliced Victor open. He's made an incision and is digging in there. And he's like, Daddy, no. Next week, we do see Valerie and Dax are on the scene. Valerie get to the toe. Appreciate it. Okay. Because they're going to ask the lady at the bar, Lily, have you seen this dude? And it's a picture of Victor. And so she's talking about, no, I haven't seen him. And so she knew she was lying because Dax is like, this is the only bar in town. And he told me he was at the Honky Tonk Lady. So I know he was here. So then Valerie stepped up and said, you know what, witch? If you don't tell us where he's at right now. And then so she tried to, and if you don't get these people out of here now, I'm over her. I'm over Lily. At first I was like, she might be okay. Because she was trying to tell him, Victor, to get up out of there. Too late anyway. We're over it. We're over it. Okay. Alright, y'all. Be here for Fluffy Was Wrong tomorrow night. We getting into it, y'all. We getting into it. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. I want to thank my 2 new subscribers. Chunky Lulu. And somebody's name that I can't remember. But it was a lovely name. My memory is going and I'm tired. But I appreciate you. And I'm not looking at the name right now, so that doesn't help. But it was a wonderful name. It was a wonderful name. Appreciated it. So glad to have you guys on board. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I gotta go to school tomorrow. It's your girl, Jada J. Peace and good night.